in for a landing.
Wheels down.
Happy Monday and welcome to the program, Wolf Nation News.
What's going on, Mr. Cornbread Man?
Well, it's been a pretty good day. You know, we got off to a good start. Weather has been beautiful as we were talking about this morning. And a good day at work. Got some things accomplished.
Are you Dave in the AM tonight?
I'm Dave in the AM tonight. I don't
Gotcha.
know. I switched it up.
Hey, you got to keep them guessing, bro.
Well, I did on the second Rumble this morning. I went and in as Dave in the AM,
Right.
and it just threw them off. So, but I'm still a cornbread man. Always be.
Oh, well, you're always cornbread man.
Just threw a little curveball for the news. It'll go right back to that for music.
Right.
But yeah, my son got my yard mowed. Man, what a blessing that is.
He is a good kid.
Man,
he's not a kid anymore. But
he's 40 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
I think of him as a kid, but he's 40 years old, man.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, there I was as a young 21-year-old, me and Lynn trying to figure this thing called life out, having a kid. I knew it was hello to you there from Twitch. I thought, what in the world are we doing? You know,
you want to hear how my day started off?
How'd your day start off?
Got up 6 this morning.
Okay.
Made me some mushroom coffee and went out on the front porch to sit and meditate and, just different things. Listen to some little music, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, around 6:45, I hear my next door neighbor scream, "Winston," which is their dog. And then I hear a boom and tires screech right in front of my house.
Wow.
And Winston has been hit by a car.
Oh, man.
Coming down the hill.
Not good.
Winston is a cream English lab or English setter. He's about 125 pounds. He's a big boy. When he gets to moving, he can knock you down.
Oh, yeah.
This young girl was driving the car and she gets out just freaking out, squalling. Oh my God. Just going. And Winston jumps up and runs back up to the front porch. And everybody's worried, is he okay? Is he okay? Winston's up there barking. He was barking at the car. Well, adrenaline and all that it can get running in dogs and they can do a lot of things. But anyway, long story short, Winston's fine. We bought him a squeaky toy and gave it to him. And they took him to the vet, had him checked out. He's okay. And Howie's best buddy Winston as well.
Well, amen to that. Well,
maybe a little bruised up,
Yeah.
Could be a little sore tomorrow.
I thought it was going to be worse. I mean, I was thinking we was going to be in. And I'm glad that's okay. Also, our good friend Greg Smith, Backwoods Cryptids,
right?
His wife is going to be. They're going to have a baby tonight.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think that's a
congratulations early, Greg.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes he clicks in, but he's. I saw a post when I got home that they're going to have a baby tonight sometime. I don't know what time, but congratulations. I know she's ready.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
They're to death.
He's going to be distracted from cryptid hunting for a few months.
But I see a day in the future when he's going to be out there with
little Greg.
Yeah, little Greg Jr. out there tree knocking and everything else.
Yeah, call him Littlefoot.
Before we start in the news,
my wife said, "Look, Greg called his boy Littlefoot."
Littlefoot.
Yeah,
that's cool. Before we get into the news, it is news, but prayers to the community there in Louisiana where whatever evil reason this man has killed all of his kids, or at least most of them. It's a horrible story. It's tragic. Kid trying to get away, killed on the roof. There's a pastor there. He says, I'm going to make sure that they get buried and everything. And it's got to be
wow.
I really believe in situations like this, the community will turn out and from around the world even, and
Yeah.
make sure that they get graves and headstones and all that, because they're not ready. I mean, there's nobody left except extended family.
Did he kill them all? Did anybody survive in the family?
I'm sure there were some, but I know there were 7 or 8 kids that were killed or something like that.
Well, can you imagine the trauma for the
Yeah,
ones that are left behind? That's
no, that'd be. I mean, I can't even imagine.
I can't either. That is just beyond imagination. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's evil. It's demonic. It's
Most definitely.
uh, there's. I mean, they were going through a domestic, and I guess they were getting a divorce or something. I don't know, but come on,
That's no reason
really?
to go
No,
crazy.
no,
No.
not on anybody, even the ex or whatever. I mean, come on. Of course,
Wow.
he was killed, taken
So
out.
they had 7 children.
Well,
He killed
I
7
think
of them.
I think with there's 2 women in critical condition. I guess he shot females. I think that 7 of them were one ladies, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the other one. There's a
Oh,
little bit there I
wow.
don't know. And then there was a horrible story today out of Portland, Tennessee, where a dog got in the house that was kept out back and killed an infant, and the
Oh
dog
my
was put
goodness.
down. This is in Portland, Tennessee. Prayers for all those folks, and tragedies around the country. But those are 2 that stand out: kids, infants. Just horrible, horrible news. And let's pray
Wow.
for just continue to pray for them.
Well,
God
I've got a
knows their need.
couple. I've got a couple, but they're world news.
That's okay.
The first one is a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit right off of Japan, triggering a tsunami warning up 3 meters. People are evacuating coastal areas.
Yeah,
Those
and
things can,
this is showing up as my YouTube because I switched it over. But thank you for the prayers from
awesome.
Norway.
Yes, most
We
definitely.
appreciate that. I mean, they need it. Yeah, and that tsunami, I can't imagine a wall of water coming at me.
No,
water.
and people don't think 3 meters is that big. 3 meters is over 6 foot.
And not much will stop it.
No,
It will
it just
destroy
keeps
everything in its
coming.
path.
Yeah.
Water is, like wind. I mean, very forceful, and can just take out so many things. But
And then another thing in Lebanon, and I hate this, but an Israeli soldier was caught on camera smashing a Jesus statue with a sledgehammer. Now, Israel's military is calling it severe and promising to take action.
and they will.
They will.
I mean,
there's no. I mean, that's not how you conduct yourself.
And there are IDF soldiers who are Christian, who are saved. Obviously, this one's not. But yeah, whatever reason is wrong.
Right.
And
but we have to remember there are mental problems all over the world, but there is also a lot of lies, a lot of things that are going on, a lot of deception going on in the world today.
A few news and notes. Now, the Tuesday is the end of the deadline for the cessation of the war there, the ceasefire with Iran.
Right, Strait of Hormuz, but Iran, they're saying they're not even going to talk to them.
Yeah, they're not going to, and so
we need to go in. We need to go in and, take out their infrastructure, and we need to make it very clear to the people of Iran, listen, y'all either stand up or we're going to come in and you're not going to like the results. Y'all need to leave your country.
I was listening to Mark Levine last night, Victor Davis Hanson, and
both of those guys.
One retired general, and they all said we just need to be patient with more time. They are bleeding because they can't sell oil, and the pressure is mounting. And I was reading an article today. There are voices that are starting to speak out that are not clerics. So there's hardliners against the more moderates, and there are people ready to abandon ship on us, saying they're mad at. So they said that when they had the peace talks, supposed, that the biggest arguments was in the They brought 80 people to that, dude. When they went to Islamabad, they brought 80 people from all
Wow.
these different factions, and none of them could get along. And they were shouting at each other, and they said that was the problem. They couldn't get anything done amongst themselves, much less an answer. So the pressure is mounting. They don't have money, or it's bleeding. I mean, I think it's something like it's crazy numbers, but it's millions of dollars a day that this country is losing.
Oh yeah,
And they can't afford it.
And revenue alone.
Yeah, they can't afford it.
No.
And the news is local news, which was kind of talking about national news. This ship violated the blockade, but in the news they were saying allegedly violated. Well, they showed video of it. That they had been ordered to stop.
They showed them firing on it.
They tracked this ship, this cargo ship, for something like 6 hours, telling it to stop.
Right.
And finally, they put something in the engine, and they said a hole. Well, you could drive a truck through it, but that's they got the message. Marines descended on it, from helicopters, I guess, and took it over. And that's we're showing them that we're not going to put up with it. This is not the same America. I mean, there are others who. I remember when Obama was president, he against the Somali pirates, he wanted to authorize every kill shot. You don't get an opportunity to kill shot, but very few times. This would be leaders and stuff that they want to take out that were among the pirates. And by the time that you called all the way back to get his approval, the shot was over. You got to give people the right. You got to say,
you have to let the hounds off the leash.
Yeah.
Let the war fighters fight war the way they're supposed to.
I mean, we all want it to end, but we gotta. If we leave too early, we've gave lives for nothing. We have to finish this and get the enriched uranium, and hopefully regime change will happen. So you're dealing with better people, because these people will rebuild. We're also putting a hurt on China because they buy a lot of Iranian oil
and Russia. I mean,
we are changing Russia. We're changing the dynamics of the region. John Fetterman.
Listen to this. That being said, they are starting to. Trump said, "Listen, head right on over here to the Gulf of America. We'll fill you up with oil."
Absolutely.
And they're lining up now. They're coming in by the drove. So we're going to be making billions of dollars. And we're going. I mean, Trump is so smart. He has positioned us as the number one oil guy, oil country, whatever. What I'm trying to say, I don't know.
Gas supplier. We have increased our production quite a bit. Of course, someone was saying the other day, which it was good. It was good information. The difference between dirty oil, clean oil. Some refineries can't do certain oils. Right. But we do need to build new refineries in this country. I believe it.
I agree.
They're aging. They're old. We need to do that.
We do.
John Fetterman says today in an article in Newsmax.
I love him. I'm sorry, but I do.
He said that some Democrats are rooting for Iran. This is a quote from him. He said that the Democrat Party's response to the war with Iran has been, quote, very disappointing, end quote, pointing to what he described as a failure to support actions addressing Tehran's nuclear threat. He made the remarks during an interview with video journalist Nicholas Balazi, where the senator defended the legality and necessity of Operation Epic Fury. He said the Trump administration has followed the requirements of the War Powers Act, noting that Congress received notification within 48 hours and that the operation remains within the authorized 60-day window with the option for a 30-day extension. He said presidents over several decades have confronted what he describes as the danger posed by Iran's nuclear ambitions, adding that the current effort reflects that long-standing policy concern. He just a couple more notes. He's pointed to global implications, including the strategic importance of oil supply routes, which we just basically mentioned, saying disruptions such as a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz could affect multiple countries and require a coordinated response. Quote, if your country consumes oil, then that makes it your war too, end quote, arguing that international partners should play a more active role. But I thought it was interesting that he said in there that some Democrats are rooting for Iran, and that's listen. You can be against the policies of your nation. That's your right.
Right.
But when you're rooting for a country who has said death to America and has calls us the great Satan. I don't think that's very wise to do that, but that shows you the sickness that's within that party. Fetterman's not going to win again as a Democrat. He's going to have to at least go independent or something. He was elected.
Did you hear the purple-haired lady go off the other day about raw milk?
I don't think I heard that.
Oh my! You could. She had a ring on every finger. I'm serious. This is no joke. She had bracelets. She had all kinds of stuff. Her hair was purple. She's about 120, it looked like. And she's griping at Kennedy about raw milk, people drinking raw milk, saying he ought to be run out of office because people are drinking raw milk. I was drinking raw milk when I was a kid. I used to drink it straight from the cow's teat. You know, I turned out all right. Well, some might argue that point, but
mostly,
you know,
yeah, just kidding, man. Another story that I wanted to highlight on the Gateway Pundit. Let me pull that up real quick. This cracks me up a little bit.
Right.
The president last year did not attend the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He says this year he's going to. More than 250 journalists, among them Dan Rather, surprise, surprise, have said, and Sam Donaldson, have signed an open letter demanding that the White House Correspondents Association turn this Saturday's dinner into a stage for a direct, quote-unquote, forceful confrontation with President Donald Trump. The letter was sent to the association. It calls for on the organization to use the podium at this dinner to deliver a forceful defense of freedom of the press and condemnation of those who threaten that freedom, followed by standing toast to the First Amendment. All of a sudden now they love the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the First Amendment.
It's all a lie. It's a distraction. I mean, they don't give two rats butts.
They said they want to speak forcefully in front of the man who seeks to undermine our country's long tradition of an independent, strong, and free press. The letter says, when have they been independent lately? I mean, they have been one-sided in their reporting.
Well, yeah, they're paid for. They're run by the Democratic Party or those that run the Democratic Party.
The letter read in part that some journalists plan to wear a pocket handkerchief or lapel pins with the word First Amendment. And continuing in that spirit, we believe the White House Association should take stronger action by issuing from the podium a forceful defense of freedom for the press and condemnation of those who threaten that freedom, followed by standing toast to the First Amendment and a pledge to continue upholding such a critical cornerstone of our democracy. Speak forcefully in front of the man who seeks to undermine our country's long tradition of an independent, strong, and free press.
Okay, so
they're basically staging another show.
Can I interject here?
Sure.
We need to come back and say, listen, when you start telling us the truth, we'll listen to you. Until then, y'all can touch grass. You know, that's the way I feel about it. You know, I don't care what the media has to say, the majority of them. I don't care what channel it is. They all have an agenda.
I just find it funny that this word forcefully. I mean, can you imagine the look on the president's face as they do this? He'd be like, I mean, he's not going to, it is one of those things where they can give jabs and stuff back and forth. I mean, but usually, I mean, it's all in, good natured and fun, and they do rip each other. But to be saying that they're not, going to, basically, like I said, a show, it's a demonstration, basically, not a protest, but a demonstration of what they're going to do. But they're doing this all, which is funny. They're doing this all to get on video so that they can brag to the world. Look how we stood up to the president.
That's all they want to do.
And what is the end result of this? Nothing. I mean,
they feel better,
but it's their right to do it. I don't fault them that, but they're making this big deal like this makes a big change.
Yeah,
in that.
changes.
But what's hilarious to me is in previous administrations, there have been people kicked out of the White House press pool. They've been threatened.
Mhm.
They have
Been spied on.
They won't spied on. They won't call on certain reporters. He just tells them you're not going to talk. I mean, he does the same thing, but they've done the same things to certain reporters.
He's not going to allow them, or she's not going to allow them, whoever it is, to disrupt the meeting. I mean, that's what it is. It's a privilege to be there in the White House. Okay. It's a privilege. It's not given to you.
Yeah.
It is a privilege for you to be there. They can revoke that at any time. They can take that privilege away.
They can.
And people need to understand that. You come in there and you start being a jerk and asking, nasty questions and all this stuff, trying to implement people that with lies. And that's what it is, a bunch of lies.
But even when Democrats had control of the room, there are many journalists who are never called on. They get access, but they're never given the opportunity to take part because they won't call on them. Mushroom coffee.
Yeah,
very nice.
Have me another cup.
Another article from the Gateway, which this is by Paul Saran. It says, embattled Zelensky finally gives up on, quote, winning Trump over, end quote, realizes U.S. president is not and never was his ally.
Wow.
It said the Globalist magazine, The Atlantic, comes with an article about how the Ukrainian leader, Vladimir Zelensky, finally realized that Donald J. Trump is not his ally. I don't think he ever portrayed himself as an ally to Zelensky.
No, I want to tell you what, it's about time for Zelensky to go back, pole dancing or whatever it did. He was a little gay elf or whatever and plays, I don't know. But he's just a little gay coke addict. So I'm sorry if that's what he is. Or meth or whatever drug.
A modestly successful comedian who was the greatest salesman on earth, and P.T. Barnum for conning feeble Joe Biden into giving him billions. He called him disrespectful for his antics in the Oval Office, which they were.
They were very.
He said that he has done a terrible job with a country that is shattered, where millions have unnecessarily died. He panned him for refusing to hold elections, which he's being a dictator. He's not doing those elections. And not being ready for peace, despite the fact that he has no cards in the negotiations with Russia. So it's just funny to me that
I don't know why we haven't taken him out.
So the Atlantic says this, but now Kyiv appears to have given up on the United States. It is aggressive, which this is true. He is trying to direct things from overseas.
The EU has taken over. They're the new,
Well, he's reaching out. He's trying to be the leader over there. That he calls it. He calls it the security teams. There's an article over the weekend I read where he talks about the security teams. He wants to come together and address this issue, including the Strait of Hormuz. Dude, you ain't got nothing to do with it.
No,
but it says it is aggressively seeking new diplomatic and military partners. For instance, by sharing its hard-won expertise in drone warfare with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and forging armed production agreements with Germany. Ukraine has sent drones to attack oil export facilities near St. Petersburg, deep inside enemy territory, in defiance of what Zelensky calls signals from unspecified partners to avoid striking Russian energy infrastructure. But he's not going to be successful. Europe will lay him down.
Yeah.
They've already let him down.
Europe lets everybody down.
If he thinks,
they let
and by the way, down. If he thinks the Arabs are going to be his friend as well, he has no cards to play other than they're just trying to get drone information out of him because that has become the new thing, and they have got a lot of experience by the drone warfare that's going on in the Russia-Ukraine war.
Right.
But
who's giving it to him?
He's selling himself to the open market. He's dried up. There's no more, just pouring stuff at him from the United States. So now he's trying to build new coalitions. because the dude he's got nothing else.
He has nothing but the war. That's all he has.
And if war was over today, and they went to elections, I believe this guy. If it's fair elections, I believe this guy loses.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't think many people like him in that country. Not with what they've seen on the streets.
I don't think hardly anybody does, because I mean, look at all of their relatives that have been killed.
Well, and picked up, grabbed off the street, thrown into vans, and taken and put on the front line. And now they're getting old men and young boys. I mean, because they're running out of men.
Somebody's got to pull the trigger.
So I mean, so the golden egg has been cut off from.
Well, the country of Ukraine will be gone in a generation, because there's going to be nobody left to populate it.
Well, if they keep,
at this rate, that's going to happen.
They've already lost a fifth of their country. I mean, it's gone.
Yeah.
A fifth of the country is gone, and they're not getting it back.
No.
He keeps saying he won't go to peace without two things: security assurances and these places back. That's not going to happen. You've lost, dude. That is the nature of war. If you lose, and that's what people in America.
You're the one that bowed up.
Well, that's what people in America. A lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people in America think that we go weak and we'll just be friends to the world, that we will somehow, everybody will just think better of us. And no, we have people who hate our guts.
Yeah.
And you have to remain strong. He misplayed his cards. And he misplayed them with the American. Yes, I will say.
But the American press is on his side. The American press is on his side.
Well, it was. I don't know about. Well, some of it is. The previous administration were making deals, and they've done this for a few, making deals to threaten NATO on Russia's border, and Russia said, "No, not going to happen."
Right.
And we're going to take some property here, which a lot of those. I'm not saying it's right what he did, but a lot of those cities that were in that southern end, or if that's southern, I don't know if that's western or southern. But where they invaded at, they're Russian speaking.
Yeah.
Some of them wanted to be in Russia because they don't like the
part of the old Soviet
government.
Part of the old Soviet Union.
Yeah. And Crimea, and that was wrong too, but Crimea was mainly Russian speaking peoples who wanted to be under Russian rule. They didn't like, and they're so far away from Kyiv, they probably are closer. I mean, honestly, they're probably closer to seeing Russian people than they are, Ukrainian for where that's at.
Right.
But he is passing himself as an expert now in naval warfare because he's been able to keep Odessa open. So this guy's he thinks he's like the ringleader coach that's going to bring in all these people and coordinate he wants to be like the guy over keeping the strait open. Are you kidding me? This guy's a joke.
He is.
What it is.
He doesn't even deserve our time talking about him.
Well, he don't. But it's funny. He was off the world stage because the Iran story was getting all of the, all of that. What was going on?
You don't hardly hear about anything about Ukraine.
The news had totally abandoned this whole thing over there. It's just another slog that's been going on for 4+ years now. Yep. And the guy said, "I got to get us back in the news." And so he starts speaking out, and there's people that run to him, and leftists and globalists, and so, well, we got to listen. He's speaking,
Yeah.
And and now he thinks he's building up. He's building a house of cards. This dude's a joke. He's not got anything. Europe will sell him out. They will absolutely sell him out.
In a heartbeat.
And so will the Arabs.
Yeah.
If anything, and Europe thinking that they're going to marginalize us, I think it's been shown who's been marginalized. It's all of NATO.
Well, NATO's about to get pimp slapped. You know what I mean?
I don't know that I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
That phrase.
Yeah. A pimp slap's different than a regular slap.
Oh, okay.
A regular slap is open palm. You just slap somebody. A pimp slap, they close their knuckles like this and then hit, with them knuckles right there. That's a pimp slap.
I must ask, how do you know this?
I've known some pimps in my
Oh,
day, you know.
education here. I've never knew that. I didn't know there was a different slap. So
Yeah. My wife is probably cringing up there as we speak.
yeah, probably so.
But
Moving along.
anyway, no, that's just a little humor there.
I know. I appreciate the humor, but
I do not want violence at all.
no. We always joke around a little bit.
But I will say this: we don't turn away from problems either.
No. First in Chicago, the great city of Chicago,
Yeah.
they have canceled for the second year in a row Cinco de Mayo. The Cinco de Mayo parade has been canceled for
Yeah,
the
they
second
usually
year in a
turn the
row.
river green through there.
And the
Oh,
reason
that's
is,
that's St. Patrick's Day.
yeah,
Excuse me.
the
Cinco de Mayo.
reason is that they're afraid of pickups.
Really?
I guess out of the parade or the crowd,
Yeah, they don't want ice. You know, you get them all in one place. Ice just go in there and start
which
arresting
tells
everybody.
you how big a problem we have that they have to cancel the whole parade
Yeah,
because they're afraid that there's going, ICE is going to show up and it's going to be like, hey, thanks a lot. ICE might even have something in the parade, just dressed up,
you
and all
never
of a
know.
sudden start taking some people out of the parade. Or
I want to tell you what, Holman's ruthless.
so,
You know what I mean?
so they don't. Many families, it says, are experiencing fear and uncertainty due to increased immigration enforcement actions and the ongoing threats of raids. The event, typically marked by music, dancing, and cultural celebration, has seen reduced participation, according to organizers. He said the community members have understandably withdrawn from public gatherings and celebration. There's nothing to celebrate. That's called hiding out.
Yeah.
I mean, we had, you see these people. There's still millions. They've taken out thousands, but there's still millions
Of undocumented here.
undocumented. We don't know where they're at. We don't know who they may or may not know who they are. There certainly is no tracking mechanism for them. They're loose in the country somewhere.
I know
A
where
lot of them are probably under assumed names or social security numbers that they
I know
have
where
got.
4 of them are. I was at the store the other day, and I could tell this little girl. She looked Guatemalan. You know, the Guatemalans are a little smaller in stature. I don't know why, but from that region there of South America, they're smaller in stature. But she came in to buy a case of beer, and they ID'd her, and she didn't have ID. She ran out of the store.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, ran out of the store and jumped into a car that was waiting on her right outside with 3 other people in it, and they drove off.
It's
They
a
didn't
huge
want to take a
problem.
chance.
Our borders were porous. They were just pouring across.
Yeah.
Have been really for years. It escalated under Biden, no doubt. And they're just going to they're going to try to wait it out. I am sure that they're thinking. I'm just one of the reasons. I think one, nobody knows who they are or where they're at because they switched names or whatever they did.
Yeah.
But probably hoping that the next election in 2 years we'll see someone friendly to their cause and take off the heat, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's a waiting game, much like the Iranians are doing, waiting, trying to buy time. They don't have that kind of time, but hoping to buy time past this window that the president has, hoping that the Congress will limit him. But I think it's went far beyond. I think Congress would be in trouble if they tried to limit that right now.
This is what they're hoping. And they've already, I saw a fella, he had the goods. He had everything, the proof, the evidence, everything. One person in Iran came forward. They were a whistleblower. And they showed him this program that they had gotten into the voting systems of the United States, all 50 states. They had a file in each one with 100,000 of these things that they made up, and that's how the election was rigged.
Well,
It
and
was rigged in
we
2020. It was rigged.
we know we had problems
Yes.
with different places.
But I worry about that in the midterms, because if the Democrats get Congress, if they take Congress, I don't think they're going to take the Senate. But if they take the Congress, they're going to impeach Trump first thing, boom, right off the bat.
Well, I think they're going to try to do that anyway. Now they're trying to use the 25th Amendment to get him out. That's not going to work.
No.
But here's the scenario I see: if the Democrats do win seats and they can stonewall Congress,
yeah,
what they will do is they will
see what they've done.
They will block everything that he tries to do, no matter how it hurts or who it hurts. They won't care. They will fight him on everything he does. They don't
care.
And he'll be reduced to executive action. And so just like in any, although this is weird because it's separated by the 4-year Biden term, this is the second term of president. I know people say third, but officially the second term. And the second part of a second term, the last 2 years are usually hard anyway on presidents, even if no matter who the president is. And you're going to see a lot of defections from the administration. We're already seeing that. People are moving into other jobs, private sector, going their own way. You'll see more of that after the midterms. Some will wait till after the midterms. It'll be that third year we'll see defections. And it could just be a really ugly last 2 years.
I call them burnouts.
Well, they do get burned out.
And, and I can see why, especially somebody like Pam Bondi. Okay. She might have not come out with the Epstein files as fast as everybody wanted her to. But I think she did a great job. I mean, look at the things she did do. You know what I mean?
There were a lot of things accomplished. There were frustrations on some other things. But
there are. And Kash Patel as well. But
who, by the way, just sued, what was that, a $250 million lawsuit he filed for things that was they've said about him. Who was it that he put that on? I don't have it in front of me.
But I hope he wins.
It's all over the news today that he did that.
I can find out real quick.
I forget which. I don't want to say the wrong one, because if somebody be offended, I don't want to get sued.
Who is Kash Patel suing?
But it is, and I knew it. I was watching the article about it before I came down here, or the news about it.
Kash Patel just filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit against The Atlantic, and their reporter today,
which is the one that
claiming he has a drinking problem and unexplained absences at the FBI.
Yeah, they said he had a drinking problem.
Yeah, so he's come out.
Defamation of character right there.
Both fists. So, the president has been pretty successful suing some people that have said things about him or done. He's won some big lawsuits.
Yeah.
I always said all these people that were suing others, that's a two-way street. These lawsuits can run both ways.
It does.
And just because you think you get away with it, you say something like that, and you start saying something that's not true, better look out, because lawyers are waiting to take up cases. So,
exactly. And that's why, I mean, even us, I have to be careful, because me, I like to run my mouth. My wife has to monitor everything I do.
Well, we all do. I mean, we do have freedom of speech, but you have to be careful about how far you go with that. There's comedy, there's different things, but there's people out there that they just say anything.
Well, they're looking to get their feelings hurt. They want to get their feelings hurt so that they can do something to somebody to possibly destroy them. That's how they feel good.
And on that note about leaving the administration, Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer, sorry, she'll pop in, but she's leaving her cabinet position after whistleblower complaint filed. So there's another one that's leaving the administration. There's been several of them so far, and I think you'll see more.
Whistleblower complaint was filed.
Yeah, but I didn't look through the whole thing, but I didn't want to keep that playing. But we're seeing that. So I just think as even before the midterms, we're seeing these defections. I think you'll see more. After that, people are going the speaking circuit, write a book, maybe get their own show somewhere. There's going to be a number of things, maybe move into other jobs, but there's going to be a lot of that. I mean, just people that you said.
Yeah, they're getting out of Dodge while they can.
Well, you're getting attacked by. I mean, maybe your family's even being threatened. You know, it's a sick world out there. Even in the United States, there's a lot of sick people that do evil things. It's wrong on both sides when it happens, when people attack the kids and family of these people serving. They need to leave. That's out of bounds. You need to leave it alone.
Yeah.
And then calling the police out to the people's homes. That happens a lot. That's one of the latest gimmicks.
Listen, I want to tell you, this is my personal opinion. We need to stop putting these people in jail. We need to stop it and open up the mental health institutions once again and start putting these people where they can get some help. And they can keep them in line, with drugs, whatever. I mean, that's how they do it. They keep them sedated, lethargic, whatever, so that they don't harm anybody. But
there was also the list that was put out.
They can be rehabbed.
Yeah, there was also put out the list of how many people in Congress have been accused of sexual deviancy and other things that have happened.
Yes.
And it's quite a list.
DUIs, prostitution, all kinds.
Yeah, all kinds of different things. And spiritually, our leadership, we've known this, it needs a cleansing. I mean, we have to get the leadership of this country has to be
pray for our leaders,
because we've got a lot of evil that is occurring within our nation at the highest levels and on both sides. There may be more on one side than the other. I don't know, but there is this deviancy, this total depravity of man is on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, it is. And just like clockwork, when you start attacking like that, and in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus, and I command that you flee from this area right now.
Hang on just a second. We were breaking up. I think
you're not going to believe what just happened.
What just happened?
I don't know if you could hear me or not, but I was just praying in the name of Jesus. I was rebuking Satan, and I clapped my hands and I said, "Now," and you came on.
Yeah,
you were completely frozen. I don't know if y'all could hear me or not.
Well, I kind of lost you. I don't know if it might have been on my end, but something happened. But I did. For me, both the screens went blank for a minute, but I kind of.
Well, I mean, think about it. We are, standing up for the kingdom.
Yeah.
And Satan, it was funny. I said, just like clockwork, he freezes the camera,
I caught the very end of it, Yeah. What else?
Jesus. Thank you, Lord Jesus.
Did you hear about the two soldiers in Alaska? They were doing military maneuvers and they were attacked by the bear.
I did not hear that.
They had bear spray. Apparently it's pretty serious. They're going to have multiple surgeries. They should survive. The bear, I don't know if they even caught the bear, but they.
They were in his backyard.
Yeah. They were on maneuvers or whatever they were doing, but two soldiers.
They should have killed the bear. I mean, if they had guns on them, they should have killed him.
At least it wasn't the Russian bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be a whole different story. Tim Cook of Apple stepped down today. That's pretty big news in the world of tech and
it is.
Business. I'm sure that people.
I wonder how far Apple dropped today.
Well, they named the replacement. He's an Apple veteran named John Turnus. He's the senior vice president of hardware engineering, effective September 1st. So further changing over of the guard at Apple, who has been a business giant.
Yeah.
And on that note, I don't know if you've seen the video, or the pictures and video that was taken by the astronaut who put his iPhone in the window of the spacecraft. Of course, there's going to be people say it was all Hollywood.
Yeah.
But he put that in there, and he got this is amazing. He got a glimpse.
Can you show it?
Behind the moon, just a little bit.
Can you show it?
I don't have it in front of me. I know
we're getting better at doing that stuff, or you are.
Well, I'll just have to look and see.
Right.
But think about it. That's awesome. Well, it's amazing marketing for Apple that this iPhone was there.
Boom, right there. Yeah.
Broski on the scene.
What's up, Broski?
Let's see here. iPhone.
I agree with you there, Broski, in some instances, but there is a lot of mental illness in this country. And I think a lot of it's demonic possession disguised as mental illness. But, that's just my opinion. But we did away with the place to put all these people, and now homelessness is out of control. And I just think that it would be a more civil thing to do to try to, if they're violent, no, put their butt in general population. That's the way I look at it. Let's see what happens. But if they are redeemable, which in Jesus's eyes, everybody is redeemable. He paid that sin debt for us a long time ago, 2,000 years ago. And I thank you, Lord Jesus. But, we need a place where these people can get some help instead of throwing them, in behind a dumpster where they have to live under a cardboard box. Just my opinion. You know how I like to run my mouth.
All right, let's play this video.
All right.
He has to get focused, but it's pretty amazing. One chance in a lifetime, he says.
Well, yeah.
And he gets it zoomed in, and it's so clear. When it'll clear in just a second. There it is.
Oh, wow.
And he got this. That's him speaking.
Wow.
Pretty cool marketing for them.
Yeah.
That the iPhone was used. But he said once in a lifetime shot. Maybe once in many lifetimes. I mean, not many people would put that kind of,
Yeah, look at all of the craters on the moon. I mean, those are cool. That's multiple hits right there. So don't tell me the moon's hollow. You know what I mean? It'd sound like a bell going off all the time with all those meteors hitting it. Wouldn't you think? Something's made those craters. Some of them look new.
He said, this is from Reed Wiseman. He said, like watching sunset at the beach from the most foreign scene in the cosmos. I couldn't resist a cell phone video of Earthset. You can hear the shutter on the Nikon as Astro Christina is hammering away on a 3-shot brackets and capturing those excellent Earthset photos through the 40mm lens.
Right.
He was in window 3 watching, with them watching next to him. He said, I could barely see the moon through the docking hatch window, but the iPhone was the perfect size to catch the view. This is uncropped, uncut with 8x zoom, which is quite comparable to the view of the human eye. Enjoy. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it is very cool.
That's pretty cool.
Very
I mean,
cool.
That's just something you don't see all the time. Something like that.
Right.
Now I'm sorry. I hope you're still watching. Yes, you heard me right. This is our friend from Norway, rooting for Iran. Yes, there are some that doing that, according to John Fetterman. It goes on to say, my husband is Ukrainian, and they want an election! ! Even the Ukrainians are not pleased with him as president.
Right.
You're absolutely right. We have 100,000 Ukrainian refugees in Norway, and only about 30% would even consider going back after the war. Wow.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That's the kind of
definitely.
thing.
I mean, that lets you know.
Living this. Yeah.
We're speaking. We're trying our best to speak truth here.
I'm not trying to be. It's like with Russia. I'm not against Russian people. I'm against the Russian leadership. I'm not against Ukrainian people. Heck, we've got Christian friends and acquaintances there, pastors that we read their stuff. I'm not just saying Christians. I'm saying all people. I'm against this jackboot government, which treats its people so bad. and have denied rights. I mean, it's become a dictatorship.
Oh,
And
I agree.
they're just allowing more and more people to be killed, and Russia keeps gaining ground, and something has to give, or he's going to lose the whole country.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point we force people in recovery for the benefit of society. They made the choice to be a burden. So do we then make that choice for them? That's that's a big question.
That is. That's very philosophical there. That's Broski, you come up with some pretty deep questions there.
Well, and to kind of bookend on that,
yeah,
it's not the exact criteria, but going all the way back, and these talks have went back quite a ways,
right?
Way before there was ever a virus or anything talked about. The question is what if we had people who could make the rest of the population sick with something that we couldn't heal? Do those people get put away? The answer would be yes. I don't care what country it is, the government would round you up. They would attempt to and put you away. That's why that time was so scary.
They might even just go ahead and put you down.
Well, that may be, but that's why there were talks about building on wings on hospitals way back before the virus, because they were talking about the last line of defense before. Last line of defense is that one of our antibiotics.
Yeah,
there's one that's been the trusted one forever, but the germs are figuring out a way to get around, either through just what germs do, or through research and these Frankenstein doctors that do it. And what do you do if you have somebody that they could infect millions and they can't heal them, or they say they can, or whatever? They're going to lock those people away.
Fauci should be hung publicly.
So the question would be, does that apply there then to those people like that? I think I don't think the country's anywhere near that. But people would join the ranks pretty quickly to see people locked up if they were, sickening people in a mass, way that of something you couldn't heal, So anyway, Broski, we kind of mentioned Zelensky. He's not a friend.
Did I lose you
for a second? He said he is not a friend of the lace-wearing midget leader of Ukraine, little leather and lace-wearing midget leader of Ukraine.
Yep, that's basically what I was calling him earlier. It has to be Broski.
Yeah, it's.
Me and Broski think alike on a lot of things,
which is a little scary sometimes. And that's not a shot at either one of you.
We don't agree on everything.
That y'all have this mind meld of things going. It's really funny,
Yeah.
I mean, we all agree on many things together. There's things we don't agree on, but I was just joking around.
Hey, listen, if you never disagreed with me, something would be wrong. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We should all, disagree with something.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of our news look tonight. I'm going to be taking a short break and come back with music. I don't know if Biscuit Boy can join, but I'm going to be flipping it around, and we're going to talk music for a bit. We'll come back, and I've got 3 albums in house. Boy, they go back a way. You can tell the damage that's been done. One of them is not mine. I think I got one of my wife's dad's albums to show you some of the ancient stuff that he has. Right. But I'm going to be talking about the year 1975 in music, and we'll look at a group as well on the southern stage.
Well, Elton John was killing it back then, wasn't he? Elton John was killing it in 1975.
Well, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. I mean, that was a heyday for him, when he had the big glasses on, and
those shoes.
Oh man, those outfits and stuff.
Yeah,
he kind of changed around, early 80s. He kind of changed a little bit.
He was a strange person, but he had some good music.
Oh, it's ruthless and crazy, but I like that.
There you go. Fist bump, brother.
There's a lady that works with me, and she was saying how she said, I saw the puppets with that guy. I said, what do y'all call him? Oh, Biscuit Boy. I said, yeah, he's Biscuit Boy. And she liked the puppets with you, Uncle Jeb and Georgia Bubba. So I said, you'll see more of that soon. So
yeah, I enjoy my time with Uncle Jeb and Georgia Bubba.
those are pretty good.
We don't always see eye to eye either.
No, it's not always.
You know? So
all right, we're gonna go out and come back in. Give me 15 minutes, and we'll have it right back up.
If I'm not here, I'll try my best to jump in at some point.
Yeah, man. Good to have you, brother Paul Lebron.
Hey, peace out, brother. Love you, man.
I'm glad the dog is okay.
The dog is fine.
That was a horrible thing there that you was sharing. So
yeah, he's good. He's a tough one.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care. Good night, everybody.